I recently spoke with a new dentist about real estate investing. He purchased a practice 3 years out of training, and his wife is also a dentist. I was impressed that he was already focused on building long-term wealth and developing an exit strategy so early in his career. One of his questions had to do with active versus passive real estate investing. Now, he had heard about real estate syndications, but he was also considering investing in single-family homes. If you have a full-time job and are considering investing in real estate, a great place to start is asking yourself whether the active or passive route makes more sense, which is exactly what we're going to cover in this video. If you're new to this channel, I'm Dr. Jeff Anzalone, a periodontist that's on a mission to get you out of the rat race with passive income creation. You can download my free passive income guide I've put together just for you below this video. If you're a busy person like me, more than likely you're going to be drawn more towards investing in real estate passively. Why is that? It's because of this big thing. Our biggest wealth generator is our income. Why? Because we spend all our time, our money and energy into our careers that give us this nice income. Think about how much time, money, and energy that you've put in to get where you are today. Doctors spend anywhere from 7 to 12 or more years after college, along with racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt in the process. Now, for a physician, their time is better focused on treating patients. Dentists too, physical therapists, pharmacists, same thing. And whenever you get to the point that you're thinking about real estate investing, if you're going to be an active investor, so once you start dealing with all these tenants and all these maintenance issues that come up with being an active investor, time has to be taken away from some part of your life, whether that's your work, your family, traveling, things like that. So whether you choose the active or passive investing, that's up to you. My goal for you is financial freedom, where you can get to the point where your passive income stream basically replaces the W-2 income or the active income. Real estate is a huge industry with multiple different ways to get involved, and it's your job to find out which part of it is going to help you accomplish your goals. So let's start off by looking at the difference between active versus passive real estate investing. All right, so in order to keep things simple, we're going to define somebody as an active real estate investor if they're doing something that has to be like a hands-on approach. So it's typically an active investor, it's more time consuming, as you're going to have to deal with issues, you're going to have to deal with problems as they come up with your property. Now, on the flip side, passive real estate investing, we're going to talk about it. It's more of a hands-off approach. And with this hands-off approach, you do have limited control and time commitments as well. So let's take a little bit more detailed look between the two. So what exactly is active real estate investing? Now, years ago, I had a minor snow skiing accident, temporarily hurt my wrist, which made me realize that I was depending only on this practice's income to provide for my family. Now, it's funny how you never think about getting injured and all the possibilities this can bring you until you're actually injured. Now, at that point, I knew that adding extra income streams was a must, and I found that most of the millionaires out there had some sort of real estate in their portfolio. So I decided at that point to become a real estate investor, but I didn't have any idea about all the different ways that somebody could invest, specifically invest passively. So I started out traveling down the active investing path because that was pretty much all that I knew. So somebody that does that, this is somebody that's involved with the acquisition process. They are involved with securing the financing for the property. They're involved with maintaining the property and eventually selling the property, such as apartments, single-family homes, self-storage, if you're into the manufactured home parks, that sort of thing. Usually investors in an active role or are involved with a higher amount of risk because many times they have to personally guarantee the loan. For active investors looking for a very fast return on their investment property or a steady rental income check, they'll usually do one of two things: a fix and flip, which is just what it sounds. So the active investor, they'll fix or they'll rehab a property, and then they'll turn it around and sell it as quickly as possible for a profit. That's the first thing. So for them, the shorter the time frame, the better. And the second way is the refurbish and the rent. So This is similar to the fix and flip, except the investor plans on renting the property out so they can get annual cash flow. Besides the additional income stream, the property will typically is going to appreciate or go up in value, thus making it a great investment strategy if they decide on choosing to sell it in the future. So let's talk a little bit about the active real estate investor when it comes to commercial real estate. So usually commercial active real estate investors, they put together a team to help them, such as like a property manager. However, all the final decisions, they ultimately rest on the active investor, because they're the ones that they're going to have to manage the managers that are involved. As you can see, even with this type of approach, there's still a considerable amount of work, even with people working for them. But the good news is that as an active investor, you're going to receive most of, if not any of the profit that the asset generates. That's active real estate investing. So now let's get into the passive route. What is exactly passive real estate investing? Now, that snow skiing accident, it eventually led me down the path to finding real estate investing. Luckily, I found out that there was more ways to invest instead of becoming the active investor. And during that time, I attended a real estate investing conference for dentists. It was hosted by Dr. David Phelps, called Freedom Founders. And the event was in Dallas. I think I went back in 2014 or 2015, I believe. And really going to this event, it proved to be the catalyst for me to really start taking a deep dive into passive real estate investing, which eventually led me to start this YouTube channel teaching high income earners about creating passive income. Now, passive real estate investing it's completely hands off. It involves basically investing your capital into real estate assets, and you're not responsible for any of the day-to-day management. Thus, it involves much less risk versus somebody that's an active investor. Someone else is going to be responsible for going out and finding these deals. Somebody else is going to be responsible for getting the financing and dealing with the calls at 3 a.m. when the water heater busts, not you. Now, this type of investing is great for the busy, high-income professional with very limited time, yet they want to build additional income streams. The time factor is one of the main reasons I chose a passive route with these real estate syndications, which is nothing more than a partnership between multiple investors. The group comes together, they share their capital, they share their skills and other resources, which allow them to gain a much bigger purchasing power and acquire properties that they couldn't afford otherwise. So the project sponsor or the general partner, they're the ones that are responsible for everything, like finding the property, obtaining the financing, the daily management of an entire portfolio if they have of properties. And then it's also their job to report back to you and me, the limited partners or the passive investors. We went over the active real estate investing, we went over the passive real estate investing. Now, which one should you be? Should you be an active investor or should you be a passive investor? So what I've done is I've put together a list of 5 factors that you should consider. So now that you know the difference between the two. So the first one is control. And if you're the type of person that wants full control, then probably active investing may be the best choice for you. From start to finish, you're going to be the one to make all the decisions, from choosing the property, rehabbing, managing tenants, and or the sales. On the other hand, if you're more like me and are willing to put your investment in the hands of others, then probably the passive route may be the best. Number 2, time. As an active investor, it's no doubt that it's going to take up a lot of your time. Even if you're not physically doing the work yourself, it's on you to hire the maintenance crews, the contractors, property managers, etc., to make sure that everything gets done properly. You're also going to be in either the landlord position dealing with tenants and their problems as well. Passive investing, on the other hand, doesn't have to deal with any of this, as it's remember, hands-off form of investing. I deal with patients on a daily basis, so the last thing I want to do is to get calls in the middle of the night from tenants. No thanks. Once you invest in passive deals, it's the general partner's responsibility to handle the operations of the property. Your job is to only make sure that the quarterly or monthly distributions that you get from the project hit your account on time. Not a bad job. Number 3 is diversification. One of the questions that many of the new Passive Investor Circles members that come into our website ask me, they say, Jeff, should I only invest in my area? Now, as a passive investor, it's much easier to diversify across different markets. Why? Well, it's due to the fact that you'll be investing in teams that have already taken the time to research those markets and put solid local teams in place. Active investors need to understand the market and the asset class they're investing in. And some of their responsibilities include researching particular markets and putting together what's called a boots on the ground team. Number 4 is risk and liability. Now, if you're somebody that's typically risk averse, then passive investing is probably going to be your best choice. If things go wrong as an active investor, you're the one that's going to be held liable, which could cause you to lose the property and could also cause you to lose some of your other assets. As a passive investor, your liability is only limited to the capital that you put into the deal. Usually the asset is held in an LLC, and if anything goes wrong, typically it's the general partners that are held liable, not you, the limited partner. And last but not least, number 5 is profits. Typically, as an active investor, the financial returns are going to be significant as you own 100% of the deal. Now, with passive investing, the profits are distributed amongst other investors. This doesn't necessarily mean that one type of investment will net you higher returns than the other. You're just going to have to compare when it comes to one deal to another. All right, so now that you have all this information, which is the right option for you? Now, when examining the active versus passive investing comparison, each of these options, they have positive aspects. So if you have a full-time job like me with limited time, yet you want to become a real estate investor, then the passive option may be the best one. On the other hand, if you have access to deals with ample time and confidence building a team, then maybe active investing may be the best choice for you. When trying to determine the right path to take, strongly consider your unique situation, your goals, and your interests. And one of the best things you can do is research and find a mentor out there that can help guide you in the right direction. Don't forget to like and subscribe in this video, and also I'll see you in the next video.